What if I told you there's something worse than being broke? Most high performers look at their life and think, I'm successful, my life looks pretty good, I made it. But secretly, they know they're struggling. They know their life isn't stable and they can't quite explain why. If that's you, this video is for you. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can be successful and still feel unstable at the same time. And if you stay to the end, I'll walk you through the exact system I use to help high performers and leaders like you fix this. Let's define what successful but not stable actually looks like. On paper, everything's up and to the right. Your income is up. Your influence is up. Your skills are up. Your confidence is up. The title, the role, the money, the results, they're all there. But you know there's cracks in your foundation. You can't sleep. You're one conflict away from being exposed. There's constant tension at home with you and your spouse and your kids. That's not a success problem. That's a stability problem. Check this out. In order for a tree to flourish, it must first go down under the ground and get roots. A tree has to grow in both directions. After it gets roots, it grows up and down. The problem most high performers have is they refuse to go down and get roots. They just want people to see their beautiful leaves, their branches, and their fruits. They spend so much time only focusing on their confidence, their money, their skills, and their influence, that when life requires more, they don't have more to give. High performers build a successful life before they build their foundation. Your life can't go up before your identity gets its roots. Here are some signs you're successful but not stable. You're always on. There's no off switch for your brain. You're on vacation, but you can't enjoy it. You're at home, but you're invisible to your family. Your reactions are bigger than the situation calls for. You're irritable all the time and always on edge, but you can't fully explain why. You avoid looking at certain parts of your life, your money, your health, your marriage, your habits, because you're afraid of what you'll see. You live with a quiet fear of finally being exposed for not really having it all together as most people think you do. That's your identity telling you that it's almost at its breaking point. When your identity has reached its capacity, your nervous system moves into survival mode. There are 3 stages to this state. The first stage is fight, control, anger, overmanaging everything and everyone. The second stage is flight. You avoid, you're numb, you overwork, you disappear into your phone, doom scrolling. The third state is you freeze. You procrastinate, you overthink, you stall and you shut down. You might still be performing at a high level, but like a tree without a solid base, you're one storm away from snapping and destroying the things around you. Now, I know what a lot of people say here. It's just a season. Once I get through this lunch, this quarter, this year, it'll all calm down, right? Sometimes that's true. But if you're honest, for many of you, it hasn't just been a season. It's been a pattern. Like a good Netflix show, you've been living in binge watch mode. This show never goes off. It just goes to the next episode and to the next. That tells me it's not just a seasonal problem, it's a structural problem. It's like if the tree keeps growing up, but the roots never go deeper, or kind of like your identity never shifted to be able to carry the weight that you're carrying right now. So where does this actually come from? Most high performers built their life on a handful of core beliefs. I'm valuable when I produce. If I don't handle it, I'll fall apart. I can't show any weaknesses. Those beliefs helped you get where you are. They made you gritty. They made you tough. They made you reliable. They made you outwork everybody. But now you're not just grinding for yourself. You're carrying a team, a church, a family, a brand, a platform. And that same I'll handle everything myself, or I'll fix everything myself, or I'll figure this out myself identity that made you successful is the same identity that's now making you unstable. You're still running the identity of the hustler, the underdog, the hero. So instead of feeling rooted and grounded, you feel like you're standing on shaky ground. And success is this close to slipping out of your hands. Your life went up, your identity didn't. That's why you can be successful and not be stable. I want to reiterate this. You're not weak. You're not broken beyond repair. You're not helpless. You're just someone whose calling, success, and life just grew faster than their identity. That doesn't mean you're fake. it means you're due for an upgrade. Picture the version of you who handles pressure with a calm and steady mind, shows up at home with something left in the tank for your family, makes decisions from clarity, not panic mode or ego, isn't scared of being fully seen because there's nothing to hide. That's not a fantasy. That's what happens when your identity gets rebuilt and rooted. You don't need to become a different person. You need to become the version of you your current life is asking for. Only then will you be successful and stable. So how do you move from successful but not stable to successful and stable? You don't need more tips, tactics, and strategies. In my program, we go down to the root system, your identity, which is your internal operating system, to fix these very issues for good. Here's what it looks like. We map out your triggers to see what sets you off and the things you typically avoid dealing with. We study your automatic responses when you're under pressure. We get you to accept responsibility for your mindset and your belief system. You might not be responsible for how it was programmed, but you are responsible for reprogramming it now. We help you build emotional literacy so your feelings become data instead of being a dictator for your actions. We clear our old beliefs that may have worked for you in the past, but are a hindrance to you right now. We set up guardrails and an accountability plan around the version of you that you're becoming, not the one that it's time for you to let go of. In other words, we stop just trimming branches and we start rebuilding the root. That's what I call identity transformation. That's how you go from tall and wobbly to tall and firmly planted. One more thing that keeps high performers stuck is they think, I should be able to fix this by myself, right? You've probably been the fixer your whole life. You're the one people typically turn to. You're normally the answer. You're always the rock for everybody else. So the idea of asking for help with your own identity and stability feels wrong or even makes you feel weak. But think about it. You get a coach for your business. You get a trainer for your body. You hire experts for legal and financial stuff. Why would the one area that affects everything in your life, your identity, and your nervous system be the only thing you insist on handling alone? At some point, the I'll handle it myself stops being about responsibility and starts being about pride and ego. If you're watching this and you know, I'm successful, but I'm not stable, then don't just try to get more successful. It's time to get rooted. I built a 12-question quiz called the Identity Audit. It takes about 5 minutes. It shows you exactly where your identity is too small for the life you're living right now. And if your results aren't what you were hoping to see and you want help actually rebuilding your identity, you can book an identity strategy session with me. It'll be 25 minutes of me giving you pure value, and then we can see if you want to extend the relationship and sign up for our one-on-one coaching program or our inner circle. No pressure, no commitments, just free game. You'll get value either way, whether you choose to work with me or not. Comment the word stable and I'll send it to you for free. Either way, don't settle for a life that looks good but doesn't feel stable. Just because you're a leader and a high performer doesn't mean you have to suffer in silence. You were meant to be successful, stand firm, and be the stable one without losing yourself.